Okay, let's be honest. We've all been there, right? Tangled up in the red tape at our school or university. But what if there was, like, a universal playbook to make these places just run better? Well, today we're going to explore a really powerful framework that's all about bringing consistency, transparency, and efficiency to education. So let's dive right in.
You totally know that feeling I'm talking about, right? You're just trying to get something simple done. Register for a class, get a form signed, and bam, you hit this wall of confusion. It's this universal frustration that can make the whole world of education feel like one giant bureaucratic maze.
Oh, and these are the classic headaches. I'm talking about getting one piece of advice from the registrar's office and then totally different advice from your academic advisor. Or how about this one? You submit a form and it just vanishes, poof, into a black hole for weeks. Look, these aren't just little annoyances. This stuff can seriously, and I mean seriously, impact a student's entire experience.
Okay, but what if there was a way to just smooth out all those bumps? Like an instruction manual for schools to get their processes sorted out, making sure everyone is on the same page. Well, guess what? That system actually exists, and it's being used all over the world.
And that system, it's called ISO 9001. Now, I know, the name sounds super technical, but don't let it scare you off. Seriously. Think of it less like some rigid, boring set of rules and more like a playbook for quality. It's a guide to help schools and universities deliver the absolute best service they can.
So at its core, ISO 9001 is what's known as a Quality Management System, or QMS for short. Again, don't worry about the jargon. All it really means is that it's a structured way of making sure things are done right and done the same way every single time. It's all about building that consistency and reliability right into the fabric of the institution.
So it turns out ISO 9001 is actually part of a whole family of standards. You got ISO 9000, which is kind of the big ideas book. It lays out the philosophy. Then there's ISO 9004, which gives you tips on how to get even better. But the one we really care about, the one schools actually get certified for, is ISO 9001. That's the one with the specific, actionable requirements for building out that playbook we've been talking about.
All right, so what's the guiding philosophy behind all this? Because it's not just about creating a mountain of paperwork, I promise. The whole system is actually built on a few really powerful and, frankly, common sense ideas.
And here they are, the 5 key principles. First up, customer focus. And in education, customer means students, parents, and even future employers. Next, you need strong leadership to point everyone in the right direction. Then there's the process approach, which basically means you stop winging it and create clear, repeatable steps for everything. After that, you've got continuous improvement, always looking for ways to get better. And finally, evidence-based decisions. In other words, using real data to make choices, not just guesswork.
And this right here, this quote just nails that first principle. It all comes back to the students. The entire system is designed to make sure their needs and expectations are met. I mean, that's a pretty powerful mission statement for any school, right?
Okay, so principles are great and all, but how does a university actually do this stuff? How does it work in the real world? Let's take a look at how this whole philosophy gets translated into actual practice. Basically, it boils down to 3 core components. First, and this is a big one, process documentation. You literally have to write down exactly how things are done, creating these things called standard operating procedures, or SOPs. Second, quality audits. You've got to check your own work, both internally and with outside eyes, to make sure you're following the plan. And third, continuous improvement. You have to build in a regular cycle of reviewing and tweaking your processes to make them better.
Okay, to make this crystal clear, let's just walk through a really common example, handling a student complaint. Now, without a system in place, this can get messy and fast, but with an ISO 9001 framework, the whole thing looks completely different.
Just look at how structured this is. 1, there's an official way to submit the complaint. No more just telling someone who might forget. 2, it's immediately documented so it can't get lost in the shuffle. 3, it gets investigated by the right people. And 4, there's an actual commitment to solve it within a specific time frame. The point here, the really crucial thing, is that this process ensures every single student issue is handled fairly and consistently. No exceptions.
So putting a system like this in place, obviously it's got some huge upsides. But, like with anything, there are also some potential pitfalls you've got to watch out for. Okay, so on the pros side, you get massive gains in management efficiency. Everything becomes more transparent and consistent. And let's be real, getting that ISO 9001 certification really boosts a school's credibility. The big but, though,
The big warning is that if you aren't careful, all that documentation can spiral to just more bureaucracy. It can actually slow decision-making down. It's a really delicate balance to get right.
But clearly, that potential downside hasn't scared people off. We're talking over 1 million organizations globally that are certified to ISO 9001, and that includes tons of universities all over the world. So yeah, this is not some niche, weird idea. It's a proven, global standard for quality.
All right, so after all of that, what's the final takeaway? What's the big picture here? Let's boil it all down.
Okay, here it is in a nutshell. Think of ISO 9001 as that playbook for running a school efficiently. It's built on fantastic principles like focusing on students and always trying to improve. The way you make it work is with clear documentation and regular checkups, or audits. And the whole point, the ultimate goal, is to make every single process fair, consistent, and totally transparent for students.
Which, it kind of leaves us with one last, really fascinating question to chew on. In this whole quest to create a perfect, efficient, standardized system, do we risk losing some of the human element? You know, the flexibility and creativity that often makes for a truly great education. It's something for every modern school to think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this deep dive.